In the last stadium ladder, Cinccino was able to finish in the top 100, placing 63rd place on the stadium ladder. And today we are going to be trying out in the early ladder and trying to get to Master Ball tier with this Cinccino team. This is one heck of a Miraidon Zamazenta team with Cinccino. Let's break it down. First up, we have the Rusted Shield Zamazenta, giving it the crown form with the Dauntless Shield, giving it a +1 defense boost once per battle while on the field, with the Ghost Terra type that is able to help out against Fake Out, but especially the opposing Fire type moves that could affect Zamazenta super effectively. With the Body Press, Heavy Slam, Imprison and Protect. Right, there is no Wide Guard on this team. It is opting for Imprison instead to be able to shut down opposing Zamazenta especially. And it is able to help protect the Cinccino from opposing Zamazenta, which can be helpful. And if you do notice the overall team, that the team doesn't exactly have the best body press switch-ins naturally, other than the multi-skill Dragonite, which you don't bring too much, and the Whimsicott, which you'll find out later, it is not a Whimsicott that really switches in. So need a way to beat opposing Zamazenta, and why not just shut it down while having the Imprison, because you can just be able to ignore opposing Zamazentas and put on the pressure. And against Calyx Shadow Rider Zamazenta, hey, you know what, you're immune to the Astral Barrage with the Cinccino, and guess what, the Zamazenta can't touch you, so the Cinccino can go for more attacks safer that way. And then the EV spread, it is a pretty bulky Zamazenta, 188 HP, which I guess is able to be a number that is divisible, or a number that is a number divisible by 16 and then -1 HP. It's usually for like burn damage, for taking less damage from burn. However, usually you would want a number divisible by 16 or +1 because of grassy terrain, but instead just opting for an odd HP number that is able to reduce the burn damage instead. We have 156 defense, which is able to give it an extra point in its defense stat. And then the speed, 164, it is able to outspeed a timid max speed Landers Incarnate in any of those base 100s. And you do want to be able to have the faster Zamazenta in the mirror, so having a lot of speed in order to get the Imprison before the opposing Zamazenta can attack. Next Pokemon, we have the Loaded Dice Cinccino, which is able to make the Cinccino's multi-hit moves guaranteed to hit at least 4 times and 50% chance to get 5-hitter, with the Technician ability, which powers up every single weakened attack that Cinccino does as a base power below 60. And since it's individual multi-hit moves, yeah, they're going to be boosted by this Technician. The Ghost Terra type that is able to help out against Fake Out and those super effective Fine type moves with Triple Axle, Knock Off, Rock Blast, and Protect. So Cinccino, very interesting mon. We don't really see it. It is from Pokemon Black and White, and yeah, otherwise you probably have not seen this mon much in competitive at all. As you can tell, based off its stats, we are running max attack and max speed with an animate nature, and even those best stats aren't incredible. Base 115 speed is actually pretty good. It is pretty good. We're not maximizing it. However, Cinccino is able to at least be tied with the base 100s, but you really have to maximize the attack stat because, man, this thing is really weak. Base 95 attack, its defenses and HP are pretty pitiful. I didn't even know how pitiful it was until after I tried the team, and then I looked at Cinccino's base stats and I was like, this is a lot weaker defensively than I thought it was initially. I thought it was like special defense was at least 80, but yeah, no, it is not that great. But you have to maximize the attack, so its damage output is great with the Loaded Dice and Technician to help boost up the power, which makes it usable. Now, we don't see it much because of its stats aren't exactly the greatest, but why Cinccino? Overall, the multi-hit moves are really great against Focus Sash mons. It's able to have really good coverage because it has some of the best coverage that you kind of want on this team. You have the Triple Axle, which of course is really useful in a format with a bunch of dragons, the grass types, and flying types out there. Like Triple Axle is a really strong move in general, and having a multi-hit move again to play around the Focus Sashes and more is able to hit actually pretty hard. Then you have Rock Blast, which is really great against those flying types, but specifically Incineroar, which is a fire type, the Chiyus, and the big one is Volcarona, because Zamazenta and Miraidon don't exactly appreciate a Quiver Dance Volcarona. So having a way that you are able to punish Volcarona is pretty massive, while still being able to threaten good damage. Having a Ghost immunity is really solid for Zamazenta and Miraidon because they don't have one naturally, so it's harder to switch into Astral Barrage, especially if you're running a non-wide guard Zamazenta. So it is able to put in some value there. Knockoff able to hit the Calyx Shadow Eyes, get rid of items. A fast knockoff is always appreciated, but also able to just again hit those ghost types really hard. Lunala, Calyx Shadow Rider especially. It's an interesting Pokemon. We'll see how it goes. But the Loaded Dice and Technician, even though its base 95 attack is not good, it is able to at least put in some weight thanks to Loaded Dice and Technician, and we'll see how much damage it will be doing in the video. And I will be bringing Cinccino to every single game of this episode, because that's how we do things here on this channel, is showcase the Pokemon and wonder if it's worth it or not. Next Pokemon we have is the Cobra Cloak Xianpao, preventing any secondary effects from affecting the Xianpao, especially the fake out flinches, any icy wind speed drops, and more. With the Sword of Ruin, which is able to lower all the defense on the field of other Pokemon. With the Grass Terra type, which is able to actually be decent into stuff like Thunderclap Raging Bull, Surging Strikes from Urshifu, Grassy Glide from the Rillaboom. You're able to resist a Volt Switch / Electro Drift from Miraidon. It actually does have some defensive implications, and we have seen Grass Terra Xianpao in the past before with Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch, Ruination, Protect. It's quite an interesting Xianpao because, one, Cobra Cloak. We do not see Cobra Cloak on Xianpao pretty much at all. And yes, it is mainly because the Whimsicott is going to be holding that Focus Sash. So you kind of want a different item on the Xianpao. Normally it would be a Life Orb if the Focus Sash is taken on most teams. However, the Miraidon is running a Life Orb. So what is there to remain on the Xianpao? And you know what? Have that Cobra Cloak. Why not reveal it? Because you want Protect on Xianpao, because it is a way that the Xianpao can stick around, so you can do more damage with your body presses, the Dragonite in general, the Cinccino. So you want it to be able to stick around on the field anyway, so you can't run Assault Vest. Cobra Cloak can help out in some situations. Otherwise, I think it would be probably Clear Amulet. But the thing about Clear Amulet is it does make it pretty obvious from the lead, if that does happen, that Xianpao is like, oh, the item is revealed as not Focus Sash. So that mind game does come into play, because Cobra Cloak can help out in some cases, while also just not revealing itself immediately. Otherwise, the Eevee spread decided to go with max attack and max speed, which is interesting for in the defense. And yeah, it's not actually even be able to outspeed opposing Miraidon. I guess you don't want to have a speed tie between your Miraidon and the Xianpao, so opting for one to be slower. In this case, it's going to be the Xianpao. As Ice Spinner for opposing terrain like the Rillaboom and opposing Miraidon. You have Sucker Punch, of course, for the priority Dark type move. Ruination is able to chip 50%, so it can be really nice for follow-ups, especially with the Xianpao. Xianpao is just able to really help enable the damage of its partners and chip away across the board. Next Pokemon we have is a Focus Sash Whimsicott, allowing it to live one powerful attack with the Prankster ability to give it a +1 priority to any of its non-attacking moves. With the Ghost Terror type, again, we've already talked about Fake Out specifically, with Moonblast, Encore, Tailwind, and Endeavor. Now, Whimsicott, pretty common. Focus Sash or Cobra Cloak are its main two items, opting for Focus Sash in this case because it is running the Endeavor set, which is able to reduce the amount of HP to what the user's HP stat is based on percentages and numbers. It can really vary in some situations, but it is able to chip away weakened Pokemon because the Whimsicott brought down to his Focus Sash, and then Endeavor, it's really just able to bring down the opponent's Pokemon low, so you or remainder Pokemon, and finish it off. Moonblast, of course, really strong Fairy type move. The Encore, because it's really able to disrupt opponents. Tailwind for speed control, and then of course the Endeavor Surprise, which can really help out in getting a wall breaker situation. Eevee spread and Ivy spread wise, we have an interesting one because it is not opting for maximum IVs in its HP. It's actually running 0 IVs in HP, which so that the Whimsicott's more likely to be brought down to a lower HP stat, so the Endeavors are more effective. However, it's still opting to run more defense and special defense, still running the maximum IVs there. I guess the HP number was the only one. Otherwise, there might be some situations where you have to take multiple hits on the special side or the physical side, and you might be able to live those attacks. So really just for the HP number specifically, not really just trying to bring the Whimsicott down to his Focus Sash immediately. It's just to optimize like Endeavor just being a way that the Whimsicott is able to bring down the opponent at a lower HP stat in general without losing out on some bulk in certain situations. But across the board, it is just mainly here for max special attack, max speed, a support Pokemon that's able to be disruptive, and that Endeavor tech that could catch opponents off guard. Next Pokemon we have is the Life Orb Miraidon with the Hadron engine, which is able to summon the Electric Terrain and give Miraidon more damage output in its special attack, with the Fairy Terra type that is able to help out against opposing Draco Meteors and Dragon type moves in general while powering up the Dazzling Gleam. with Electro Drift, Draco Meteor, Dazzling Gleam, and Protect. Yeah, this is Life Orb Miraidon, so it's actually able to switch up moves. It's really nice because a lot of opponents will usually expect a Choice Scarf, maybe a Soul Vest, or Choice Specs, the most common items of Miraidon. However, Life Orb is really nice because you still are able to get a good amount of damage with that Life Orb, allowing for Electro Drift, Draco Meteor, and Dazzling Gleam to really hit hard, while also being able to have Protect, because if the opponent focuses too aggressively on the Miraidon, they think it's vulnerable. No, you can actually switch up moves. You can go for Protect, and it can really mess them up, because if they attack aggressively into the Miraidon, it is a huge mistake that could just cost them dearly. So this Miraidon, really nice. No Volt Switch necessary though, because this team really doesn't switch in. It's more about the offense, max special attack and max speed with a timid nature. Speed ties at worst case the opposing 135s, but yes, at the worst case it is a 50% chance speed tie. And then for special defense remainder, it is across the board. It's not really needing bulky Miraidon because you're taking Life Orb Recall. Just dish out as much damage as he possibly can. Final Pokemon on the team is the Choice Band Dragonite with the multi-scale ability, which is able to reduce the damage by half if the Dragonite is at full HP, with the normal Terra type that is able to power up the normal type moves that it does have. However, it also does benefit because it makes the Dragonite immune to the ghost type attacks like the Moongeist Beam and the Astral Barrage, with extreme speed, Aerial Ace, Low Kick, and Facade. This is a very interesting Dragonite. Of course, Dragonite Xianpao is a pretty known staple. It has really fallen off, especially because Shadow Rider, Zamazenta, the power creeps just in general, for Rigorath was a big thing, priority blockers. It just made it really hard for Dragonite to really be able to do much. However, still is pretty good because its natural defensive typing of Flying and Dragon is really good into the common staples such as the Water, Fire, Grass cores. It's able to resist Zamazenta's Body Press, which is nice. And yeah, it's just able to put on some good offensive pressure with that Terranormal Extreme Speed, which you do have to respect with the Sword of Ruin. Running the multi-scale because you don't need inner focus on this team. It's not like you're really leading it against an Incineroar for the most part. And that multi-scale can really just save the Dragonite a lot of headaches and allow it to survive quite a few moves that would normally be able to knock it out. So, and be very useful there. Extreme Speed, of course, for the priority. The Aerial Ace is a flying type move that can hit the really common Pokemon such as the Urshifus, the Rillabooms, Amoonguss, and more. Low Kick, really strong fighting coverage based on the opposing weight class of the opponent, and usually it is able to do a ton of damage in most cases. And then Facade is just an interesting pick. I guess if the Dragonite does ever get like burned from like a Willis, because the team doesn't exactly have the best ways of responding to burn in general other than like Miraidon as your special attacker, otherwise everything is super vulnerable. I guess just in that case, if you do switch into a Willis, you are then able to go for the Facade and it will get doubled in power at least, so it can still be able to do a good amount of damage there. EV Spread Rise, max attack for the most powerful of extreme speeds, the 124 HP. It's just, I guess, some bulk, and then 132 across the board. I don't think these numbers really do too much. I mean, there's some speed creep numbers with the Dragonite in the speed tier. You're able to outspeed, for instance, the Pokemon that are able to outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider under Tailwind, which is around the 112 113 area. So that's the only really big number that I can really think of. Then it's just like a bit awkward in the speed tiers after that. So that is what it's able to do. I guess still have a good amount of bulk, but really the main point is just hit hard, because you do have that extreme speed with the very fast priority with the Xianpao, able to clean up and still take hits on naturally with that multi-scale. So how to use the team. It is a very, very offensive team. A lot of your damage output is just going to come from stuff like your Miraidon with the Life Orb, the Xianpao Sword of Ruin, enabling attackers such as your Dragonite, your Cinccino, and your Zamazenta to do a bunch of damage. You have the Endeavor Whimsicott that's able to bring your opponent down pretty low. So a lot of it is just trying to figure out positions where you're able to take knockouts as quickly as possible without losing too much. After all, you do have very big commitments you have to make because you are not a focus as Xianpao. You have quite a few things like the Imprisoned Zamazenta that can help prevent your opponent from Protect stalling the Tailwind turn, so you can take the most advantage out of that and just dish out as much damage as you possibly can with your team. You have quite a few different leads. You have the Xianpao that can just lead with anything like the Zamazenta and the Whimsicott. It can even lead with the Miraidon, and of course Dragonite is a great partner. You do have Whimsicott. Miraidon is a pretty classic lead. You have the Miraidon Zamazenta that you could just lead through. Cinccino, I guess you could lead it quite a bit depending on the situation, especially into the ghost type restricted. But across the board, I'd say you probably leading Whimsicott a lot of the time, or Xianpao a lot of the time. Maybe your restricted as well. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And what Pokemon would you like from Gen 5 that you would like to see a boost or a buff in a future generation? Because Cinccino, it's a cool Pokemon, I think in Ranbats especially. However, man, when I looked at his stats, yeah, not the greatest. So let me know what Pokemon you would buff from Gen 5 that you think, you know, isn't that great at all in competitive, but maybe could have some potential if it just got a little bit of love. Let me know in the comments down below, but let's get started and play some games and see how Cinccino goes. All right, we have the Terapagos, Grimmsnarl, Volcarona, that is Wo-Chien with Calyx, Shadow Rider, and Rillaboom. There is a lot going on here. Do I want to... There's a lot I could bring too. A lot of them would technically not involve my Cinccino, but Cinccino's not bad because I can go for a Rock Blast into the Volcarona, and Triple Axle actually hurts a lot. Yeah, actually it's not bad here at all. It is not that bad. Okay. Thinking about this because I got Ruination Pow. I got a lot of answers to like defensive stuff in general. I think I'm gonna lead my Cinccino. Because if they lead Volcarona, I want to Rock Blast it like immediately. I just don't know if I think Cinccino plus Whimsicott actually makes a lot of sense here. Yeah, I think it does. I don't need Miraidon. I think Zamazenta and Pow actually puts in a lot of work as an end game cleanup. Because they're probably going to just try to get screens, I imagine. For the most part. Try to set up the Terapagos. I feel like endgame Ruination plus Body Press is just super good into that. So all I have to do is focus on the partners. We're going to see Rillaboom, Grimmsnarl, which is great if I was leading Miraidon, but I didn't lead Miraidon. As I do lead the Whimsicott and the Cinccino. I do need to keep Cinccino around because if I don't have Cinccino, I do not beat the... I do not beat the, what's it called? Volcarona. I'm going to go for Moonblast into Grimmsnarl immediately and protect the Cinccino. If they decide, hey, I'm going to go for Fake Out, that's fine. Because I can Encore it the next turn. So let's see. You go for Fake Out. They actually target the Cinccino with Fake Out, which is actually great for me. So I do get the Moonblast initial damage into the Grim. They Thunder Wave immediately, which kind of stinks, but that's still alright. See, can we get the Moonblast off? That would have been a really big Moonblast. All right, I need to Encore more. Actually, if they Grassy Glide here, now they can actually go for it. This is tough. This is tough. Because I can't really... I guess I'll go Pow and Encore. Yeah, that's not too bad. I don't think they're going to Grassy Glide. I think they're going to try to U-turn or Woodhammer. Maybe they hard swap out the Rila. But I do like the idea of dodging a Thunder Wave on my Cinccino, so I don't have to worry about Volcarona nearly as much later on. Come on! Double Para? Are you serious, man? I'm actually upset about that. They went for U-turn. Okay. I mean, like, the thing is, the Rillaboom wouldn't have been able to switch the next turn. Like, this was such a good spot, and then it just went so downhill. I, like, got my Whimsicott damaged and paralyzed for no reason without accomplishing anything. I didn't get damage in a Grim, which would have been beautiful damage. Or later on. Wo-Chien, what? Why is it Wo-Chien back? Okay. We're gonna try to get some damage again. We want to try to get rid of this Grimmsnarl before Thunder Waves like my entire team. So they either didn't bring Shadow Rider or they didn't bring the Terapagos, and I can't figure out which one. I think they probably have. Okay, they protect the Wo-Chien. To reflect. Okay. Please get the Moonblast off. Okay. Damage, but not that much. On the bright side, my Whimsicott is faster than Grimmsnarl, so I can go for an Ice Spinner into the Grimmsnarl, and I can go for a Moonblast. Assuming I land, I do get... assuming I don't get parried, I do get the KO into the Grimmsnarl. Unfortunately, we lost so much momentum where we could have maybe had a Moonblast earlier. They maybe wouldn't have gotten a much more screens up. But that is Grimmsnarl, unfortunately. Ocean retreats into what? I go back into Rillaboom. What? Okay. Guess they're scared of Ice Move plus Moonblast in that slot. I am going to be able to get rid of the terrain so they don't have grassy terrain, which is kind of massive. Okay, we're not getting paralyzed this time. We do get the Moonblast and the Grimmsnarl, so I do get the KO on a Grimmsnarl. All right. What's the last mod? Did they not bring a restricted? Because here's the thing. I feel like you always should have brought Volcarona. Oh, it's Shadow Rider. All right, I do have my... I think I just go for a Sucker Punch into the Shadow Rider because I'm Cover Cloak, and I go for Tailwind. Yeah, because if they decide, hey, I'm going to go for like a Nasty Plot or something, I can Encore them, so that's not that big of a deal. They do decide to go for Terrassalization with the Shadow Rider because I guess to cover for a Terra Ghost option. They do go for the Terra Dark, which is cool because now they're weak to my Zamazenta, so I think that's all right. We do go for the Sucker Punch. No Fake Out. We don't get paralyzed, which is massive. All right. They go for Psychic instead of Astral for some reason into my Whimsicott to take the knockout. Critical hit doesn't matter there. Are they U-turning? Like, even if they U-turn, that's fine. Yeah. Because this doesn't even KO POW. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ruination plus Body Press gets every KO. So they go Wo-Chien. They can't tear the Wo-Chien anymore. Yeah, I just go out into my Zamazenta. So I'm gonna go for Ruination into a Body Press. Should I imprison? Because if I don't KO anyway, it might be better just to imprison so I can Body Press the next turn. I'm gonna imprison. They do protect the Cali, which makes a lot of sense here. I do get a free Ruination off into the Wo-Chien. That's really good damage. And now they can't protect. So now I can pin that Cali slot with Body Press Ice Bear the next one. They go for Leech Seed, but the Leech Seed's too slow. It's really too passive. I get an Ice Spinner plus Body Press now into the Shadow Rider. Like, here's the thing. If they went into Rillaboom, I was going to go for Terra Ghost Body Press the next turn. So I was fine there regardless. Like, I think I had like a lot of opportunities. I mean, they could have attacked the Calyx that one turn, which is the only difference, but like it's really hard to. I think like the correct maneuver is like always protect Calyx and either bring in Rillaboom, or you try to sack the Wo-Chien by going for Leech Seed like they did. And that worked out pretty immensely for me. So now we have a pretty good end game because as long as we just stall out these screens, I think we're in a really good spot. Who do I want to Terra? I guess I Terra my Chien Pao, right? Yeah, I Terra my Chien Pao. What's also nice is they can't protect the Wo-Chien, so next turn I could actually just double the Wo-Chien if I want. They could fake out my Zama. That's fine. They actually target the Pao because the Pao does threaten Ruination damage, which is nice. I am able to get a Body Press off into the Rila for some chip damage. They go for Ruination, but that's like, okay. Yeah, now I just go for Ice Spinner plus Body Press. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this end game. So I should have this locked up. I am going to go for Ice Spinner plus Body Press into the real... Wait, there's a terrain are there? Or not terrain, reflects. 2 turns, which is fine. I think we target the Rillaboom first. I mean, I could have targeted the Wo-Chien, but I'm pretty sure that out of anything, I'd rather want to get rid of the Rillaboom guaranteed, because I don't think I'm guaranteed to knock out the Wo-Chien because of how the Tablets of Ruin is effective. So they did go for Grassy Glide. I probably would have lived that even if I didn't Terra, but this prevents any Leech Seeds. I am able to get an Ice Spinner off into Wo-Chien to get rid of Grassy Terrain, which means they don't have access to that recovery anymore. A Body Press is going to take the knockout into Rillaboom. Yep, perfect. And then they're going to go for what? Ruination into the Zama again, which is cool. Because they can't protect. Because of the Imprison, I've made sure that they can't protect this upcoming turn, so I just get free Ice Spinner or Ruination damage. I think I'm just going to risk the Ruination realistically and Body Press. If I miss Ruination, they KO with Pollen Puff if they have it on Wo-Chien. I still think Cinccino just wins in the end game regardless, but we are able to get the Body Press KO into the Wo-Chien. Yep, perfect. And Cinccino would have cleaned up regardless. So, all right. Strange. I'm just shocked they didn't bring Volcarona in this matchup, because I feel like this is a game you must have brought Volcarona, because why would you not bring Volcarona into Zamazenta? They only brought Shadow Rider, and Shadow Rider was nowhere near enough. Especially because they committed to Terra into it and Terra Dart. Sure. Calyx Ice Rider, Iron Hands, the Cornerstone Ogerpon, Volcarona with Grimmsnarl. Alright. So other than the Miraidon, which is pretty scary, I do like the combo here of... I think I'm just gonna lead... I don't think I want Whimsicott, because Whimsicott doesn't do too much. I like Miraidon plus Cinccino, unironically, because I do threaten a lot of damage. I think in the back, I would probably want Zamazenta for the Ice Rider and the Xianpao, because I like the Sword of Ruin here, which is nice. Unfortunately, the problem is my Cinccino doesn't outspeed Cornerstone Ogerpon, which is actually kind of massive in this matchup. But I have no idea if they're going to try to go for a Trick Room related route, because my team is pretty frail. They could go for a Screens Fast route as well, but we'll see. I think I'm going to bring these 4. Cornerstone Ogerpon's probably one of the biggest annoyances, though. Volcarona as well, because the only mons I'm really bringing for Volcarona are going to be mainly my Cinccino. We're going to see the Grimmsnarl Cali Ice lead. Okay. Versus... Alright, interesting. Did I knock out Cali Ice with the combination of Rock Blast plus Electro Drift? Maybe. It's a big maybe. I might be able to, actually. I think I'm gonna try it. I think it's worth a try. Let's see. They go for Light Screen. They're not respecting Cinccino, which is perfect. Electro Drift. This should still do a good amount of damage. This should do like 50. A little less than 50. I think Rock Blast should be enough. All right, Rock Blast. 1, 2, a 3, and a 4. Goodbye, Calyx. Not even needing a 5 hitter. So that's a beautiful knockout at the start of the game. Getting rid of Cali Ice is massive. Means I don't have to worry about Glacial Land switch-ins for both of these Pokemon, so that's really good. All right. Who's coming out next? Is it going to be their Miraidon? Is it going to be... I mean, I think it has to be a Miraidon, right? I can't... Maybe Iron Hands comes out, but if they go Iron Hands, that's fine. Yeah, they bring a Miraidon. Okay. So I have Protect on both my Pokemon, so I don't know if they're expecting that, but I will go for the double Protect and just see like what their move choice is. If they go for Reflect, that's fine. They get a free Reflect. That's a-okay by me. If they decide to lock in a Volt Switch, I'm going to... I drop a Draco Meteor into Miraidon? I guess it depends. Because the idea here is last mon might be Volcarona, and Volcarona again is still a mon I really have to respect. So we're gonna see a Terra committed. Okay, this Terra and a Miraidon into Fairy. No, it's electric. It could be Assault Vest, so that's something I'm gonna have to keep in mind as well. I don't really need POW in the matchup anymore though, so I could definitely throw away POW if I need to. But we will double protect. They get a free reflect up, which is fine by me. Electro Drift, okay. I figured that's the case. Who's my Terra gonna be? It's probably not Miraidon. I probably would just go for an Electro Drift into the Grimmsnarl and sack my own Miraidon. Or no, I would go Shein Pow and just go for an Electro Drift into Grimmsnarl. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. I don't really have a mon I want to Terra though. That's the thing. I have no reason to Terra. Unless it confirms that they aren't choice, but we haven't confirmed anything yet. They might be Scarf by the way they're playing it, because if they went for Terra Electric plus the Electro Drift and they're faster than my Miraidon, which it's only like confirmed to be a speed type potentially, but at this point it might be, because that would make a lot of sense. As we do get an Electro Drift off into the Grimmsnarl. Really big damage. Spirit Break, okay. So I could have went for Terra Fairy there. Wait, I KO'd. I was like, I don't think that should KO. They crit me. That's bad. That's really bad, actually. That's really bad. Oh, I might just lose off that crit realistically. Oh. Sometimes that is how it goes. Because if I survive there, I get a hit off, then I don't have to expend as many resources because I go Zama. I can go for like a Protect, or I could go for a Body Press and I get the initial chip damage. I get more turns to stall out the electric terrain. Yeah, that's a bad situation. I don't know who they're going to target, but if they have Volcarona in the back, I would target Cinccino if I was them. They Sucker Punch my Cinccino slot and probably also Electro Drift. Yeah. I think they have Volk back. That's probably why they're playing this aggressive. And unfortunately, even if they have Volk back and I get like everything right, I probably still lose because of the Spirit Break crit. The Spirit Break probably did like 60 to 70% probably on my Miraidon. Yeah, it's Volk back. I had a feeling. Okay. I need a double protect, and I need a double protect with Cinccino first to kick things off, and then we'll see how after. We just all because they crit, man. Wait, what? There's no way. There's no way you potentially threw the game there. What? Wait, what? What? There's no way. What just happened? Holy, what just happened? I needed that crit, but like, oh my, what? Sure, they get the read right, but there was a chance I went for a YOLO Rock Blast into the Volcarona anyway. That play loses to that, so I don't get why they didn't make the safe play. I mean, I needed the crit to win, but you know what? I'm just gonna take it this way because they crit me earlier in the game. Our revenge crit. Our revenge crit. And Cinccino getting 2 knockouts this game. I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, it was probably Scarf Miraidon. I have a feeling it's probably Scarf Miraidon. I think I was in a pretty decent spot. Like, it's still kind of messy, but like it's definitely was pretty manageable. I'm just curious if I would have lived a Choice Scarf Electric, because I have a feeling probably no, but like I think that's like what the game would have came down to in the initial parts of, like, if it played out with like no crits, I think it would have just came down to that. But you know what, Zamazenta didn't care about a screen user. It doesn't care about a screen user. It wanted a revenge crit and it took it. All right, we have Miraidon, Lunala, Incineroar, Urshifu, Whimsicott, and Ursaluna. This is a pretty standard team that ended up doing pretty well. It's a remix of the team that was really popular at the beginning of the format. There was either Grimmsnarl or Whimsicott, and now that has just recently won the North American International Championship. So a lot of things that it could be. There's so many different variants on the sets that they could run. We're gonna find out what they have here. I do like my Whimsicott here plus the Miraidon. With Life Orb on Miraidon, it makes it easier to scout for like potential sets. I don't really like my Cinccino, but I'll still bring it because we are trying to bring it every game, and it can do some work, I suppose. It helps out against our opposing Whimsicott, and it can do some decent offensive stuff. I bring Pow. Ruination Pow is pretty good, but the thing is, if I bring Ruination Pow, I don't bring a restricted. Ooh, which is tough. I don't know if they're going to try to trick or root or not. That's the question. I think I go with Zamazenta, and I think I go with Cinccino. We'll see. This could definitely be a mistake, though. Like, their Miraidon could definitely be like really scary, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Gonna be the Incineroar and the Miraidon, okay? Versus my Whimsicott and Miraidon. They usually assume Cover Cloak, so they usually fake out the Miraidon. This could be a double up in the Miraidon. If that's the case, I would get a free Tailwind up, and that would be massive here. Also, I think we just confirmed that their Miraidon is faster than mine. So it's either Scarf or it is max speed. So I'm going to go for Tailwind and Protect. And next turn, it's kind of a mind game. I think I could go for Dazzle Moonblast, or I could go for Electric Drift Moonblast. And both would be pretty solid, but we'll see. I don't think they fake out the Whimsicott unless they know the team, but we are going to see Terrestrialization immediately, which is surprising. Going to be into Miraidon, so I guess they're going to lock in a Dazzling Gleam. If they lock in the Dazzling Gleam, that's fine. I also still have Zamazenta in the back in case it goes a little bit poorly, but this should be Specs Miraidon confirmed, because usually Assault Vest isn't likely to run Fairy Terra as much. They do fake out my Miraidon perfect. And we do get the free Tailwind up. Nice. So that's a great start. They do go for the Dazzling Gleam and lock in. Perfect. So because it's fast Miraidon, they should not be bulky. So Electro should always KO here. I can go for an Endeavor into the slot, and I can go for an Electro Drift. There's not really too much to punish me here. I don't know the instance of Assault Vest or if it's Rocky Helmet. Ideally, it is Assault Vest, so I can just take an Endeavor. Have Whimsicott still around to threaten potential Endeavors in the future. So I feel like we're in a really commanding spot right here. No switches either, so I just get a free Electro Drift, which is incredible for me. So goodbye there, Miraidon. We get a crit. I don't think that matters, as it should be like if it was a. It should be Specs confirmed. It should be Specs confirmed at that point. Although then again, we're like running a pretty non-bulky Whimsicott, so maybe Gleam from like Assault Vest can, but I just really doubt it. They go for knockoff to get rid of my item, which is cool. At this point, like, it's pretty Great. We're gonna see Lunala come in. I can pretty much just click Electric Drift and a Moonblast here. I want to do that actually. No, I think the best play is just to Moonblast the... My best play is to Moonblast the Incineroar and Draco Meteor the Incineroar as well, because this covers for a swap to Ursaluna Trick Room. Yeah. All right, they say aim to both. The reason I go for this is because if they decide to Trick Room this turn, I can Encore threaten the Lunala, which is massive. So that's the main reason I decide to make this play. So I get Moonblast off, I get the Shadow Shield broken on the Lunala. They do Trick Room, yeah. Now they're going to be locked into either the Encore or the... Yeah, they're going to be locked into Trick Room, or they're going to be locked into Wide Guard unless they have Protect. The bear comes in, which is fine. They can take my Mons. Yeah, they can take the Mons. I don't think it matters. Because they can't Terra anymore. Yes, I'm going to go for Electric Drift into Lunala and Encore it into probably Wide Guard coming out. Yep. That's fine by me. We will Encore the Lunala into Wide Guard. They go for Earthquake. I guess like the game's not 100% confirmed though. I think I should have actually protected. No, I should have protected Miraidon actually. I should have protected Miraidon because now I'm force locked in with Cinccino. I thought I could sack to get free switches, but I think I would have preferred keeping Miraidon around, so I have like more resources to sacrifice to the bear. Like this is definitely winnable still. Like this is still really good of a position, but could get spooky. Could get spooky. My turns are they Encore 3 on 3. I'm gonna go for my Ghost Terror. I'm gonna go for Body Press into the bear. I think the question is, does it protect? I feel like if anything, you're probably gonna Headlong Rush, Facade, or Protect. You know, I'm gonna knock off the Lunala. Like, I think if you're gonna attack, you're gonna target down the Zamazenta. And then I think if you're gonna scout for a Terra, I think you protect. So I think it's like really unlikely for them to target the Cinccino slot, but we'll see. Ah, they attacked. I should protect it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, perfect. They read a Terra, but I'm Ghost Terra. The one Terra they did not want to see. Although I think I could have lived with any Terra realistically. We get the knockoff damage in Lunala. The Body Press will come out in Ursaluna. It doesn't take the knockout, but with the burn damage, it will. So the bear goes down. The Lunala is locked into the Wide Guard for 2 more turns because of the Encore. And I think we only need a knockoff and a Heavy Slam to KO, even with the Electric Seed boost. So at this point, we do win. So I guess like the only way that they would have been able to win this scenario potentially was a protect, or was like going for the Cinccino slot, but I felt like they did want to respect the Zamazenta pretty heavily, so it worked out pretty well in my favor. They're gonna go for Wide Guard, but I mean it doesn't matter at this point because knockoff into Wide Guard will finish them off. So big knockoff, almost KOs the Lunala, but the Wide Guard or the Heavy Slam will finish off the Lunala. And the end game I did want to put for was Cinccino in the end game. I think the only mistake I really made was sacking the Miraidon there. I wanted a bit of extra damage, but realistically, forgot about the Earthquake situation. Like I knew they were always going to knock out the Whimsicott. Because they Earthquake, they got the double knockout. I think it was just better to protect, go into Zamazenta, go for a Terra Ghost, go for Body Press. Because if I give them the opportunity to KO Cinccino, I would lose to the Lunala. Like Cinccino was the best way I dealt with Lunala in the end game because I was going to go for Terra Ghost game playing with Zamazenta. So I shouldn't have left it vulnerable like that. But was able to win, and I think that will secure the Master Ball tier. Yep, we do secure the Master Ball tier, which is beautiful because I did go undefeated with this team. A few games to test out the team, which worked out pretty well, and yeah. So we'll continue on with the next battle. All right, I was drinking some tea, so I ended up not noticing I found a battle. I don't know what ranking they are in Master Ball tier, but we have Groudon, Lunala, Ogerpon Heartflame, the Smeargle Grimmsnarl, and Raging Bolt. Okay. So it's a pretty slow team in general, which is nice for me actually, because I have a lot of fit. Like, I do love my Cinccino here because it can hit super effectively pretty much through the most part, and it can break Sash on Smeargle, which is fantastic here. Being able to break Sash is massive. Dragonite's actually really good here. Unironically, Dragonite is pretty good. I just don't know if I want to bring Miraidon. It's decent, but it's not like the best mod. I think I would actually like to go with... I'm going with Chien-Pao plus Cinccino. We're going to full offense this. I think in the back, I'm going to bring the Zamazenta and I'm going to bring the Dragonite. I'm going to try it out. I am going to try it out and see how it goes, because the only thing I would have really liked is to be able to make sure I can beat the Groudon safely, but I think I have enough tools. I guess if they get Trick 'em Up with Lunala next to Groudon, scary, but let's see if they are able to accomplish that. We're going to see Groudon Smeargle. This is such a weird lead for me, but okay. As we lead Chien-Pao plus Cinccino. All right. Definitely a weird one. Definitely a weird one. I don't know if they follow me, but we'll see. Precipice Blades wouldn't knock out the Chien-Pao immediately. I think I'm going to go for a Ruination immediately into the Groudon. Yeah, I'm just going to go for a Ruination immediately. Protect Ruination is fine. The only way I would get really punished here is if they go for Decorate with Smeargle, or they get a Speed Boost immediately, which I'm hoping they don't get the Speed Boost immediately. That's just the thing about Smeargle. Sometimes you have to deal with those situations. But I like the idea of getting Ruination off, especially because they tear. They tear into fire. Rock Blast is threatening both. So I'm pretty happy about this. Okay. Immediate Terra Fire. Perfectly fine by me. We protect Cinccino. Let's see what they decide to go for. I didn't want to take a Precipice Blades there. Ruination. Good damage. Nice half. Oh, they did go for Decorate. Also, it's a... Okay. So they will knock me out, but I don't mind that knockout. This is going to be weird. Okay, Precipice Blades. Oh, an interesting dodge here. An interesting dodge. Defense, special defense drop, and attack. Okay. I am throwing off some rocks. And I'm swapping out here. We're going to Dragonite. We are throwing off our Dragonite into the Precipice Blades range, and I don't know if they're going to protect or not with the Smeargle or Follow Me. That's fine. If they do go for Follow Me, that's acceptable. If I do KO the Smeargle here, it's in a good spot. I mean, well, that's just how it goes sometimes. Oh, shoot. Oh, that did a lot less than I was thinking. Okay. They're gonna Rock Slide again. I'm just gonna go for a... Kind of weird. I think I always Rock Blast the... I mean, I always Rock Blast here. I think we go out into Zama. Yeah, that was unfortunate, but you know what? We will take the trade. We will take the trade. Bring out the Zamazenta, go for Rock Blast. They're going to go for Rock Slide here, most likely, and Follow Me again. Yep. Hopefully we land this Rock Blast, because it's my only way to break the Smeargle through its Focus Sash. Okay, we do land the Rock Blast, so that's one. A critical hit, but it doesn't matter. We have Loaded Dice, so we will always get the KO into Smeargle regardless this turn. Okay. The Smeargle goes down, which is fantastic. They're gonna go for Rock Slide again. The upcoming part's gonna be scary, you know. Rock Slide, all right. I think, well, we're always gonna go POW here. They're probably gonna bring in Lunala, which is fine. Oh, Ogerpon. Interesting. I think that should be okay. I'm trying to think about like who's my end game plan with Terra. It's probably just protect and go for a body press into the Groudon slot because they're probably just gonna follow me and press with Blades. They might Fire Punch to avoid a Wide Guard, but if they Fire Punch, I live with both Pokemon. Or I live with the Zamazenta at least because I Terra. Alright, we protect the POW. There should probably be another Follow Me coming out. Yep. And now I can threaten Ice Spinner and a Body Press the next turn for the KO, which is why I did this play. Yeah, I don't KO the Ogerpon. They live. Stomping Tantrum, which is cool. That did a lot less. That did a lot less. We go for an Ice Spinner and we go for a Body Press. Yeah, because I don't have Wide Guard. I do not have Wide Guard. Wait, I just realized I thought about this plan with like Wide Guard, but I didn't have Wide Guard. Okay, we get an Ice Spinner off KO into the Ogerpon. And I think Body Press with Sword of Ruin should take the KO on Groudon at this range because I'm assuming they're decently fast with the Groudon. Yeah. Perfect. Goodbye, Groudon. And now it should be Lunala as the last, but at this point we just go for Sucker Punch and Heavy Slam, or we could go for Protect. Actually, no, Protect is better. Protect is better. Protect, Heavy Slam is better, and then Sucker Punch. Yep, Lunala back. We already confirmed the Terra earlier. So our plan is just to protect and go for a Heavy Slam. Now gonna be forfeit, yeah. Ooh, okay, Decorate with Groudon, definitely interesting, but was able to get some pretty good damage with Ruination. We had some funny misses, but that is just how it goes sometimes. But we were the one who made the best plays at the end. So specifically getting rid of that, carding down the Ogerpon with the Protect Body Press into the Ice Spinner into Body Press plan. So worked out really well for us. Miraidon, Zamazenta, Grimmsnarl, Xianpao, Iron Hands, and Volcarona. This is a pretty common team that's been going on right now. And yeah, this is going to be interesting because I mean, matchup wise, it's okay. It's not like the best. I don't know if I really would bring Dragonite in this matchup. I'm debating it, but probably not. I think it's always going to be Miraidon, Whimsicott. I don't think I'm bringing my Xianpao, which is kind of unfortunate because it is actually decent, but I don't think it's that great. I think it's probably Whimsicott plus Miraidon lead here, which I think is pretty fair. Cinccino in the back because it's great against POW and it's great against the Volcarona. And then we bring the Zamazenta as my last. But let's see how this is going to go because it could go quite a few different ways. They have so much stuff. They have Thunder Wave on Grimmsnarl, which I'm going to have to be concerned about. I should have the speed advantage though with Whimsicott plus the Miraidon. And Endeavor is also pretty threatening to their team if I am able to set up correctly. So let's see what they decide to go for lead-wise. I like the idea of just going for the Moonblast. Protect if they lead. Okay, Volcarona, Grimmsnarl. That's fine. I am just doubling up that Grimmsnarl turn 1. They won't get Reflect. If they Quiver Dance, that's fine. If they Fiery Dance, that's fine. If they Struggle Bug, that's fine. I just don't see a problem with going for attacks. Moonblast into... I don't think D-Gleam's enough, and I don't really need the extra damage. They go for a Reflect or a Light Screen, which is completely fine. Again, we do have our Cinccino, so that's not like too big of a deal to deal with. We are going to get the Electro Drift off. The damage to Grim, but Moonblast will KO. All right, so Grim out of the way and only screen or light screen was out. So this is actually a pretty decent trade. We just got to make sure we can take down the Volcarona quickly enough and we'll be good. And they struggle, but this actually works out really huge in my favor. Okay. Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. So this is their Miraidon coming in, I imagine. Next part's going to be interesting for sure. Zamazenta coming in. Okay, I'll take it. I like the idea of, do I need Miraidon this matchup? I guess it's still useful to have Miraidon because it is one thing that helps against their Miraidon, right? So I can Endeavor or I could Tailwind. I don't really need either at the moment. I think my best play probably just to draw off the Endeavor. I think Endeavor Protect is fine. All right, so we get the Endeavor off into Zamazenta, which chips it away heavily. They went for Body Press into the Miraidon, and I imagine this is Fiery Dance into my slot. Oh, they went for Struggle Bug, actually. Wait, that works out really well for me. Okay. Because I imagine the Zamazenta is in range of my attack. So I think I'm going to Encore the Volcarona, and I'm just going to go for an Electro Drift into the Zamazenta at this point. Because the only way they could avoid this is if they Rage Powder with the Volk, and even if they Rage Powder with the Volk, I think I've gotten a really good position at this point. Zamazenta going to Protect. I mean, I can Encore it the next turn if I want to, so that works. I get the Encore off. As Electro Drift going to go into the Protect. And Struggle Bug, okay. So do I want to Endeavor? Do I want to Encore? I think Tailwind is also pretty safe here. I kind of like the idea of going for the Tailwind here and the swap to Zama. I also was debating about going for a Draco play, but there's really... I don't think it's worth going for the Draco risk. If they go for Body Press and catch my Zama, I don't think it's that big of a deal because all I need is Pokemon around, specifically Miraidon around, to start doing the damage. All right, let's see if they switch on to their own Miraidon, which I think would make a lot of sense here, but we'll see. Bring out the Zamazenta on my side, get the Dauntless Shield. Okay, so I could have Encored, which is unfortunate, but this still works out in my favor. They go for the Heavy Slam knockout actually into the Whim, so that's actually really good for me. Okay. And Volcarona gonna Struggle Bug once again, but it doesn't really do much damage. Now I get to keep my... I do get to keep my Cinccino next to Zamazenta around, and now I can threaten a Body Press into the slot as well as a Rock Blast. So I am gonna go for Rock Blast and Body Press. I'm debating about, do I Terra Ghost this, the Cinccino? It's like, what would be the way out here for them? Terra on Volcarona doesn't matter because they're still Struggle Bugging. If they decide, hey, I'm going to swap out into Miraidon, they take a bunch of damage. The only way Zamazenta lives a Body Press is if they go for a Body Press, which I think is fine. They are going to retreat to Volcarona, so this is still okay. I mean, they're taking a bunch of damage from Rock Blast, so I think this is... Oh, Iron Hands. Okay. I don't know. I feel pretty good about this. Ooh, they did make the Terra play. So the thing is, even though they make the Terra play, that's like... I don't even think that's that bad for me. At least I'm pretty sure. I do get a body press off into the Zama. I get some damage. We do get rock blast off. I mean, I guess I should have Terraghost. Terraghost was the better play. I thought surprisingly they didn't bring Miraidon back, but we get some damage into Iron Hands. We get an extra from the 5-hitter. Go for a body press. Okay, do I have to Terra in this game? I don't think I do. I reset the electric terrain coming up. Yeah, I mean, I think this is fine still. Yeah, no, this is fine. We go on a Miraidon. We threaten a body press. Like, we just need damage in hands at this point. There are some instances where this could get scary because we haven't seen if it was Quiver on their slot yet, but I do like body press into the Iron Hands a lot here as a play, so I am going to go for it. I think next turn is going to be the important call because ooh, wait, hold on. They switch out here, which is interesting. Into Volk. This endgame is really something. Okay. They're playing this endgame extremely well. We go for the Terraghost here with the Zama. This was to avoid a fake out potential. We'll protect the Miraidon here. I guess I could have attacked with Dazzling Gleam, but I don't think it was worth it. We get a good amount of damage with body press. We'll burn, which is fortunate. They do body press my Miraidon. Leftovers Volcarona, yeah, so this should be Quiver Dance. I still have one more turn of Tailwind though, so I think I'm good. I'm gonna draw off a D-Gleam and I'm gonna go for a Imprison, I think. Because right now I do threaten a... So what I do threaten here is an Electric Drift and a Volcarona and Body Press to Zama. I don't think they're ever gonna let that happen. They probably protect Volcarona, sack Zamazenta to bring in Iron Hands. So I think the play is always to get a Imprison off. Oh, wait, that works out really well for me. They actually go into Iron Hands, which is surprising, but that works out really well for me. Okay, did they protect Zama? They did. Ooh, I get a bunch of free damage into the Iron Hands. That's massive. Did they not have Protect on the Volcarona? I'm trying to figure it out because I feel like they should always have Protect on the Volcarona, but if they switch in hands like that, I don't know. But they take extra damage and I get an Imprison off, and because I get the Imprison off, now they're in a really tough spot. Because they don't have a way to punish this Terraghost Zamazenta. I always get a free body press into the Iron Hand slot. They can't punish my Zamazenta, and they can't punish this body press coming out into the Iron Hand slot. If they switch into Volcarona, they've just taken too much damage on Volcarona at this point. If they decide, hey, I'm going to go for a double up into the Zamazenta on my side, they can't knock it out. And Miraidon's here to outspeed the Zamazenta on their side, get the KO, and then 2 body presses will definitely knock out this Iron Hand. So I think the only way that they would have been able to maneuver earlier would have been a burn by the way that they're playing, but this works out really well for me. They go for a wide guard. They're hoping that I go for another Gleam here, but yeah, I just never let that happen because their win con here is to hope that they can knock out my Miraidon, right? So they can go for Volcarona and hope that Volcarona can beat the Zamazenta. But as long as I'm protecting this Miraidon and getting the chip damage, like, they can't really do anything. Light Screen wears off. Now I just go for an Electric Drift into the Zamazenta. I get a free body press off into the Iron Hands. They've just taken so much damage at this point. Like, it's pretty much unwinnable. They can't protect either because of the fact that I did go for the Imprison earlier in the game. And if they decide, hey, I'm going to go for a switch out Iron Hands, which is like the only thing they can really do in this situation anyway. So they're going to go into Volcarona again, but they're just taking too much damage at this point. They go for a wide guard, but like at this point, they lost too many resources, I'd say. Like, yeah, maybe I could still lose, but it's really, really unlikely. Zamazenta goes down. Like, I think for me to lose, I need to get what, like Struggle Bug crit? Like that body press is still doing a ton of damage. They do finally get the flame body, but the flame body is a bit too late because the Iron Hands is in range of a body press. I just hope that, I mean, I think I should be fine. My Miraidon's at half, so I should live a +1 fire rate dance pretty easily. Actually, it's kind of close, but I think I would live Struggle Bug or Fiery Dance very easily at +1. I mean, the play is always just to protect and body press. Their play is always to fake out Quiver Dance, and I can't do much about it, so. Go for a body press. Gonna protect, because they're gonna fake out Quiver. Yeah. So goodbye Iron Hands. I could have body pressed the Volcarona that turn, but like the order difference doesn't matter. I'm still gonna have to do the same order. Oh, they Struggle Bug here. Wait, why didn't they Quiver Dance? Are they just... It might be slow Volcarona and just not be able to outspeed max speed Miraidon after the Quiver Dance. And if they don't outspeed Miraidon, they had no chance of winning. Because I get an Electro Drift into a body press and then it KOs. Even if Electro Train disappears, like the damage is still too much. Even them +1. Yeah, terrain disappears, but like I've already done so much by how much that they were switching in and out. Like, yeah. So I was just able to rack up a ton of damage into them. So now I'm just able to win by clicking body press plus Electro Drift. Surprised they didn't protect to get a leftovers turn recovery, but I mean the game was over anyway because Electro Drift just finished off the Volcarona because they didn't go for the Quiver Dance the previous turn, as we do get burned by the flame body, but a bit too late for that flame body. As very nice. I mean, the only thing I could have done differently was, hey, that there was a Terra Ghost Blade that I had available to me. I didn't expect Iron Hands to be in the back instead of the Miraidon, so that's why I was a little bit shocked. If I knew that, then I could go for the Terra Ghost play, because having Cinccino would have been really helpful for that endgame scenario, but you know what, that's just how it goes sometimes. All right, we have Calyx, Shadow Rider, Urshifu, Incineroar, Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, and Zacian. All right, how do I want to approach this matchup here? Because Calyx, Shadow Rider, Zacian, not a restricted pair you commonly see as much. I like Whimsicott Zamazenta a lot here, though. I think I do like Whimsicott Zamazenta lead a lot, so I'm gonna lead it. Back-wise, this is where it gets difficult, but it's probably Cinccino and Miraidon if I'm going with this route. I do love Dragonite if it's put in a great position. It's great against the supports. It's not really like amazing though, unless I want to commit to Terra into Cali. But I'd rather just have Miraidon, because Miraidon just puts on so much offensive pressure against the Urshifu, Incineroar, Rillaboom core anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And Cinccino can put in work against the Shadow Rider as an immunity switch, which is nice. Retinum knockoff. The damage it has with triple axle rock blast is actually kind of nice here. With knockoff for Shadow Rider, it will have its value hopefully. But Zamazenta is probably like enemy number 1 for what I'm bringing here. Zacian is a very threatening mon, my team. So let's see what they are going to lead. Going to be the Incineroar plus the Calyx Shadow Rider, which is fine. Okay. As long as they don't fake out Astral Barrage into my Whimsicott specifically, I think I'm fine. I can go Cinccino here, I guess, if I want to. Cinccino's not a bad play, actually. It's safer. I'm going to make that play. If this is fake out Nasty Plot, then that gets scary, but I don't think you're going to do that unless you're Terra Dark Shadow Rider. I suppose you could make that play, but we'll see. Cinccino's main role is to deal with this Calyx though. So we'll see what happens. We will protect our Zamazenta as they go for... Okay, I'm very glad I switched out. I am very glad I switched out. Because if I didn't switch out, imagine the danger that would have been earlier. Okay. Gonna get a knockoff into the Shadow Rider, and we're gonna threaten a body press into the instant. If they have Encore, they have Encore. They're gonna switch out, but they don't have a good switch in the body press, so this is fine. Raging Bolt takes a lot of damage, so that's fine. They're just drawing off Astral Barrages, which is crazy. Okay. Zamazenta able to take that pretty well. We get a body press off into the Raging Bolt for some really heavy damage, and we get a knockoff into the Shadow Rider, and we KO the Shadow Rider. So they did not respect my Cinccino. What item were you? Because you weren't Spell Tag and you weren't Life Orb. Wait, that was Spooky Plate damage? That really didn't do as much as I thought. Okay. Maybe it was bulky. Zacian gonna come in, which is fine. The last mon's instant, so if I get one more KO, I'm in an amazing spot. Thunderclap shouldn't KO anything because it's not booster energy bolt. I think we're just gonna Ice Ghost Spear and we're gonna body press. This should always have a fighting move. Do I need Terra? I don't need Terra. Yeah, I don't need Terra. I'm just gonna go for Terra Ghost body press. Terrago's body press makes a lot of sense here, and then I think we could seal up a really good end game. They did go for Sacred Sword, beautiful. I wish I went for body press in Zama because my body press is going to go before triple axle, but this still worked out pretty well. So Raging Bolt goes down, excellent. And I mean, I guess I didn't take damage from a Thunderclap into Zamazenta, so now I should be able to body press the instant very safely. I missed the triple axle. The damage would have actually been okay for setting up my Maraudon to guarantee KO, but I mean, whatever. The instant gonna come in. Nothing wrong with me just going for a Rock Blast into a body press, I suppose. Because even if they're Bug Terra, that doesn't really matter too much. They go for Behemoth Blade, but with the defense boost, no way it KOs. Yeah, like no way it KO'd. Body press gonna come out, knock out the instant, so instant goes down, and the damage will add up to the Zacian, and all I have to do is get in Whimsicott, set up an Encore Tailwind scenario, and then my Maraudon will clean up the end game. So not really much I can do. I'll just draw off attacks into the Zacian. That damage is actually not terrible. That is not terrible damage to resisted Zacian at -1. We will go out in a Whimsicott here because we have a Sash available, and we'll body press. Because if they decide, hey, I'm going to body press the... Or if they're going to Behemoth Blade one of the slots, it's either my Focus Sash, Whims, so I can Tailwind body press the next turn because 2 body presses will KO. And if they decide to take out the Zamazenta, Maraudon will come in and be very safe. So, feeling pretty good here. Oh, I can also Encore lock them into Behemoth Blade, so that's what I'm going to do, actually. Yeah. Because they didn't Terra, right? No, the Instant didn't Terra, the Raging Bolt didn't Terra, and the Shadow Rider definitely didn't Terra. So all I have to do is just Encore, lock it into Behemoth Blade. We Electro Drift. Even if they're like Terra Ground, they can't win regardless. And they're locked into Behemoth Blade now. And they didn't Terra, so I'm kind of curious on what Terras they had. But Behemoth Blade gonna come out in a Whimsicott. Bring me down to Focus Sash. But at the end of the day, not really that big of a deal because Electro Drift will KO the Zacian. And that is pretty good. Otherwise, if it was Terra Ground, I would just Tailwind and Dazzling Gleam probably, and then just set up for Cinccino to clean up easily. But yeah, we also had Endeavor situations. Yeah, there was like really not much they could do there at that point. So we are able to take the win. Very nice because they gave me their Shadow Rider, and I'm taking their Shadow Rider every single time, which was beautiful. And I'm really glad I did switch out the Whimsicott, because if I got hit by the Fake Out Astral Barrage, that game could have gone very differently. And I mean very differently. So I don't think my play had too many risks, because it's unlikely I think they Encore Nets or Nasty Plot the situation if they have it, but yeah. Alright, we have Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Kyogre, Smeargle, Indeedee, Urshifu, and Tornadus. Oh boy. Great. We get to find an interesting game, that's for certain. Alright, I don't have wide guard on Zama, so I don't think I'm bringing Zama in this matchup. It doesn't even do that great against the restricteds here. Dragonite might be tempting. I definitely bring Whimsicott for sure. I think it's Whimsicott plus Xianpao lead. Whimsicott Xianpao doesn't sound bad to me, but Miraidon and... Oh, if I have to bring Cinccino, that means I don't bring a Dragonite. I guess I could forgo bringing Xianpao. It's not necessary. You know what? I'm gonna bring Cinccino, Whimsicott lead, and then backwise, I'm gonna do Miraidon and Dragonite. Because I think extreme speed is just so good in the later parts of the game. The problem is expanding force is super scary to deal with. Although I think I should probably be okay. Although let's see. Shadow Rider plus Smeargle. Okay. Versus Whimsicott Cinccino. I think it's really unlikely. Okay. I think it's really, really unlikely that you fake out here. At least the Whimsicott. I think I'm gonna Tailwind, and I think I'm gonna go for a... I feel like I should knock off immediately. I think I'm gonna knock off. They fake out the Whims, which is bad. Okay. What did they target? Oh, they threatened Shadow Ball. Interesting. All right. It is not Sash though, so we do get rid of the Shadow Rider response, which is actually not a terrible trade, but it depends on the Ogre set a lot. It is choice specs, yeah, that's not surprising. I think we go Miraidon. Did we go Miraidon or did we go Dragonite? Because the problem with Dragonite is we don't outspeed Smeargle. Like, we can't outspeed Smeargle. Because Ogre is going to come in, and if it's Scarf, I'm really concerned. I think we go Miraidon though to check if it's Scarf Ogre, because that's really important actually. I need to know if it's Scarf Ogre. Oh, Ursh comes in. Okay. That ain't terrible for me. That ain't terrible for me. I can go for a Dazzling Gleam, get some damage off, and go Dragonite. I like that a lot actually. Okay. Might not be awful. I think it's probably Scarf Ursh, which is why I really want to check the Ogre if it was Scarf or not. We go into Dragonite here, which is super safe. Ooh, good wide guard. That's a really aggressive play, but it worked out for them. Okay. It did go for Surging though, so this works out really well in my favor. All right, I think next turn we go for an Electro Drift into a Aerial Ace. Yeah, we go for an Electro Drift into Aerial Ace into Ursh. We did confirm it was Scarf Ursh, so it can't do too much. All right. So we know it's not Scarf Kyogre. We are going to see the Ursh retreat. Is this Indeedee back though? That's my question. Oh, it is Kyogre, so I do get the Electro Drift off into Kyogre, which is kind of massive actually. Oh, they went for wide guard. They think I'm like choice locked. Oh, that's so good for me. That's so good. Because I do get the Electro Drift off into the Kyogre because I am able to switch moves. One of the beautiful parts about running a non-choice Kyogre. Goodbye there, Kyogre. Goodbye. And then we get an Aerial Ace off. Okay. Game is not over by far, but it's very, very good. Very good turn. Very good turn. Here comes Ursh. We're gonna Electro Drift the Ursh, and we're gonna go for an Aerial Ace also into the Ursh, because we know it can't. It's Choice Scarf. Now gonna be forfeit. Okay, I guess they have no chance to win. Oh man. Oh man. Cinccino sneaking up that KO because they didn't respect it. I was able to get the KO on Shadow Rider, and then yeah, some interesting mind games with Smeargle, but Miraidon was able to be super clutch afterward, and yeah, having both Dragonite, which I think was definitely the play. So thank goodness I brought Dragonite. Like, I needed all 4 of those, and all of the mons worked out perfectly. Alex Ice Rider, Miraidon, Incineroar, Urshifu, Whimsicott, and Cornerstone Ogerpon. Cornerstone Ogerpon actually makes it a bit scary. Okay. I think combination wise I should be fine. I gotta remember that I don't have Wide Guard on the Zamazenta for the Calyx Ice Rider, so that's actually something I really have to keep a note of. I think lead wise, probably Whimsicott plus the Miraidon should be super solid. If I'm forced to bring Cinccino in every game, it's probably still Zamazenta in the back. I just gotta watch out because Cali Ice is always super threatening. Cali Ice is definitely super threatening to this team in general, and because they have a Tailwind mode, I can't exactly lead the Cinccino plus the Miraidon here to threaten the double knockout. They also have Follow Me Redirection. It's gonna be a tough one, specifically against the Ice Rider. If I play well against the Ice Rider, I do have some pretty good advantages, but otherwise, like, it's just really hard to beat the Ice Rider when they have a bunch of play around the Ice Rider tools, such as Redirection and Fake Out. So let's see how this is going to go. I think we can probably set up a decent position, but it's just really like, if they go for like a Miraidon central game plan with like Whimsicott Miraidon, I think we're fine. But I always got to worry about the Cali Ice. Daily Cali Ice Instant, so this is already a pretty bad start. Okay. I don't know if I want to Terra Ghost here just to avoid the Fake Out, because that doesn't seem that great to me. I think my best play is probably just to get a Moonblast off into the Cali Ice and swap out into Zamazenta. Avoids a Glacial Lance immediately. I don't reveal anything about my Miraidon if they don't know the team, so they don't know if I'm choiced or not. Like, the most effective thing for me to do is just get chip damage into the Cali Ice so I can build up the body press damage. Now, I don't know if this is Will-O-Wisp Instant, which could actually make this really difficult, but we'll see. If they go for a Trick Room, they have to deal with a potential Encore the next turn, so I feel that this is pretty acceptable. But we will bring out our Zamazenta, get the defense boost. No Fake Out. I am able to get Moonblast off in the Cali. The U-turn. Ooh, Breaking Sash is not great. Okay, so it should be Assault Vest Instant confirmed. Who's coming in? Be their own Miraidon. Oh, Whimsicott. Okay, so they Glacialed here. There's no way they Trick Roomed. Alright, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. I think I'm gonna go Cinccino. And I am just gonna rock a Rock Blast. I'm gonna rock a Rock Blast. Yeah, I'm gonna Rock Blast and I'm gonna Body Press. Or not Body Press, I Heavy Slam. I don't know if they're gonna go instant or not, but I am gonna try to get as much damage as I possibly can. If they protect, not great, but I can probably play around it. Calyx protects, which is fine. Okay, that's super ideal, actually. What's the Whimsicott going for? It's the Tickle Set. The Tickle Set's actually the worst case here. They went for triple axe. Well, even if I went for triple axe, I think it's a bad position. I think this is really likely cooked. I'm trying to figure out like how I would get around this. It is not looking hot. It is not looking good at all. I'm gonna double up the Cali. I don't know if they're gonna Terra commit now. If they Terra commit now, I guess it's not like too bad because I could probably play around some things. But oh boy, this is not a great position. This is really not a good position. If I had wide guard, I could probably play around it, but this is where in the matchup where Imprison is not as helpful. They are gonna Terra here, so their Cali Ice is gonna probably be water type, I imagine. Ground Terra. Well, that's the worst case. They tickle the Cinccino. Are they gonna go for high horsepower, or are they gonna go for a Glacial Lance? The damage on Cali Ice was actually not bad. Rock Blast. I don't think I have to worry about Encore from the Whimsicott at least, so maybe I could maybe play around this. It's possible, but it's like really unlikely. Oh, they Trick Room. They're just gonna tickle the... Well, they don't know I have wide guard yet. Do you tickle high horsepower? Okay, I gotta hope that they don't Glacial Lance at this point. If they do, I can protect Body Press, but it doesn't change anything. Because I would still probably lose because I don't do enough damage. I'm gonna commit and hope that they mess up. I'm gonna pray that they go for Tickle High Horsepower into my Zamazenta, but it looks like they're not falling for it. They went for Moonblast instead. I mean, here's the thing. Even if I attack the Whimsicott, it doesn't help me. They switch it into Instant, and then it's still, like, pretty bad of a scenario. So, like, no matter what, like, there's not much that they can do here to mess up. They're just going to Tickle and High Horsepower this time around. I'm hoping they High Horsepower this in Cinccino, but we'll see. Yeah, they Tickle my Zamazenta. And now I'm -1 defense. Yeah, they High Horsepower my Cinccino. Yeah, I'm just not doing any damage to Cali. That's the problem. That is the problem. I might be able to play around this though. I'm making a very aggressive play. I'm either gonna hope that I'm hoping that they go for Tickle here again into my Miraidon slot, but we'll see. Tickle High Horsepower would be ideal here. If they Glacial, it's cooked, but like my plan is pretty bad anyway. Like I don't have anything to play around this. If I had wide guard, I could, but it's not really likely. A light screen could play on their part. High Horsepower. Yeah, okay. So these plays that I'm making are working out. They are working out. It really depends on the back, though. Zamazenta stats are reset. We get to go for Protect. I finally revealed that I am able to protect my Miraidon. The end game's still super scuffed though, even if I get like multiple turns right. They're gonna Tickle and go for Glacial or Tickle High Horsepower. Well, I mean, I would Tickle the Zamazenta High Horsepower to Miraidon here. Yep. Yeah. Now I can threaten a double KO here. even know if this is gonna work. I'm looking at this and I just realized I don't even think this works, because I think their plan is just to protect Tickle, then go Instant, and then just fake out Trick Room, and then I can't really see what I can do. Oh, this just, I'm probably gonna have to crit a body press into the Cali. If I crit a body press into Cali, they might Tailwind too. They might go for a Tailwind plan instead, and then I just have to hope that both my Pokemon are fast and Cali Ice, which is pretty likely. Yeah, that's like what they always should do. There should be Tickle Nizama. The thing is, if I stall, I guess I could have like went for a Draco attempt and body press. The thing is, my Zamazenta would have been, I mean, I guess I could have dazzled too. I guess there's like no way the Whimsicott is switching out to Instant that turn, and Cali Ice protects. That was like one thing I could have feared too. Yeah, they weren't gonna do that. All right, it's possible, but really unlikely. I need to body press crit the Cali, or body press just KOs, but I just don't think it does. If you go Miraidon here, it's very questionable, but like I don't see why you wouldn't go Instant. It's just gonna come down to does body press KO to Cali, and specifically if I get a crit, and that only still doesn't even guarantee me to win. Instant comes in. All right, gonna go for Terrago's body press, and we protect. Yeah, because they should always fake out Miraidon and Trick Room. But if they go for Glacial or High Horsepower, I can catch a mistake and potentially win off that. So that's why I'm going for this. Because at this point, I don't think I need to Terra. At this point, I think I just need to outspeed the Miraidon to win the end game, which is actually pretty likely. Let's see. We will protect our Miraidon as they go for fake out into. Oh, are you kidding me? I could have dazzled. I didn't KO anyway. Yeah, game over. Game over. Why would they do that? I could just fake. If I dazzle there, I think they actually are in a lose con. Because as you saw, they lived a body presses, which is what I expected. I went for the Terra Ghost just in case, and at that point, like, it's like if they high horsepower, maybe there's a chance that Zalma lived. I think it was really unlikely that I did, but like the small chance, that's like the reason why I decided in case they high horsepower. But if I dazzle there, I'm in a spot where I can actually win the game. Is insane to me. That's insane to me. But unfortunately, it was just super downhill. The fact that they were Terra Ground was actually the worst case. As you saw, the Cali was just living barely. Like I thought, oh, if this is Terra Water, I can, you know, Electro Drift it. I'll still be doing decent damage across the board. If I can go for like, if it was Fire Terra, I couldn't Terra, but most likely it was, and if it was Grass Terra, like that's fine too. Like it, realistically, Ground Terra was the worst Terra that I had to deal with. It really had to be the Ground Terra. And then it just snowballed there because like it was Tickle Whimsicott. There was so much that I just couldn't really deal with. All right, I think most of the games can generally be summarized as putting on quite a bit of offensive pressure, utilizing the Endeavor Whimsicott, and just being able to dish out a lot of damage using the Life from Miraidon, the Qianpao, which was able to break through a lot of teams. The Cinccino was actually able to put in a lot of work against a lot of Pokemon that we saw, especially against common Pokemon like the Volcarona. Cali Ice was hit by that Rock Blast in one of those games. The ability just to be able to threaten a lot of damage with a knockoff. Triple Axle, we didn't get to really click, but it would have been able to threaten the Dragon types and the Grass types in general. It was pretty strong for what it was worth and able to do a lot of damage. On the downside is that Cinccino doesn't exactly have the best stats in the world. Its attack isn't that great. The Loaded Dice and Technician really carried it. And then its bulk was just non-existent. It actually was just not able to take attacks. And I think one of the things that was weak about the team was the Cali Ice matchup, because if they do have support for Cali Ice, it's really hard to break through, especially because you don't have wide guard on the Zamazenta. There wasn't really much we could do in that one Cali Ice game where they just had fake out support, was able to bring in the Cali Ice. There really wasn't that much we could really do against that team, especially because of the fact that it was Terra Ground. If it wasn't Terra Ground, I think it was actually manageable. However, yeah, it was just really difficult. So, however, in most cases, I felt like we were able to play well and just put on the offensive pressure. Maybe there was one game I do remember where I did sack the Miraidon to the Ursaluna, where I could have definitely kept it around so I could just make sure I had more resources so Cinccino can come in safely. But at the end of the day, I think most cases I was able to position pretty well offensively with this team. So how was Cinccino? Cinccino, not too bad. It was actually able to do a lot because of its great coverage. I actually played a few games more with the team afterward. And let me just say, I mean, it did perform pretty strong for what it was worth that it was able to showcase. I mean, Technician plus Loaded Dice is actually a pretty cool combination. The fact that you get like the multi-hit moves plus like the strong hits. But of course, I did actually find out more. And Cinccino, when I first started with this, I felt like Cinccino was actually bulkier. I thought Cinccino was a bulkier mod. However, I didn't realize his special defense and his defenses were as bad as I end up finding out afterward. And it definitely like just went down pretty easily. So something to keep in mind. There's a reason why we don't see Cinccino as much, but hey, it was a cool mod that we were able to showcase, and it actually was able to do a lot of damage. If you'd like to try out the team, the rent code is on your screen. Check it out. Hopefully the team is still available by the time the video comes out. If not, you can check out the details of the team in the creator down below description, and of course subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.